The images are those of ancient Egypt, but they're not the product of craftsmen working thousands of years ago. This modern-day creation is all the idea of a former diplomat who, inspired by the work of Walt Disney, has built a Pharonic village. Built on Jacob Island on the River Nile, it's a quiet haven that's just a short boat ride from Cairo's noisy city centre. For tourists, the sudden transition from the heat and dust of the Egyptian capital to the comparative tranquility of the island helps to increase the sense of travelling back in time.
I wrote a book which I called The Renaissance of Tourism in Egypt. And in one of the chapters, I talked about what I called at that time the living museum. That living museum was inspired by the idea of Walt Disney at that time when he built his Disney World and Disneyland in America, and how successful it was and how people enjoyed seeing it. But naturally, I thought of something Egyptian.
Dr. Hassan Ragab's idea of a living museum has appealed to tourists in increasing numbers. Travelling on what the doctor calls floating amphitheatres, they're given a guided tour of the recreations of ancient Egyptian village life. Visitors travel along a series of canals which weave through the island. First come the models of the ancient gods, and then a series of scenes showing how people lived by the Nile thousands of years ago. Many Egyptian actors earn a living working in the village, most of them performing the arts and crafts of their ancient forebears. There's everything from brickmaking and farming to sculpting. What the tourists don't get to see are the workshops where all the models are made. Here, the materials for making the models are very modern, but in fact it was an ancient craft that provided the finances to help the Pharonic village grow from its humble beginnings. Dr. Ragab first travelled to Jacob Island 20 years ago to establish a papyrus plantation, and used the wealth generated by the papyrus production to finance the village. In addition to those who make the models or work as actors, there are more staff for several souvenir shops and a restaurant, in all about 300 people. They have to be at the village ready for the tourists who start arriving at 9 in the morning. The visitors spend 2 hours or so on the guided tour for their $50 entrance fee. Dr. Ragab's Living Museum is certainly far more labor-intensive than Disney's creations in America, where even the characters are generally played by machines rather than people. Fortunately, the Egyptian actors do get a chance for a rest between the passing of the tourist boats. The doctor, a former Egyptian ambassador to China, is already looking to the future and the expansion of the Pharonic village.
We are thinking now of making an exact replica of the tomb of Tutankhamun and fill it with all the findings which Howard Carter discovered when he opened that tomb in the night of 4th of November 1922.
The Egyptian capital is well known for its pollution. Jacob Island seems to be a world away with the animal and plant life established there by Dr. Ragab over the past 2 decades. A chance to compare ancient and modern lifestyles. While Disney, with its Epcot Center, looks to the future, the Pharonic village shows there's value in looking to the past.